Don't remove that mask, my prince! Don't remove that mask, my prince! Her voice echoed across the palace courtyard, freezing the hearts of everyone present. Behind that mask lies a curse that will destroy us all. The villagers trembled, their eyes wide, their breaths unsteady, because they all knew one thing. Anyone who dared to look upon her face was never meant to live. And now, for the first time in 21 years, the prince was about to remove the mask.
A child of the river, born from the mist, a gift from the water we greet with a kiss. But the woman of the house...
The story of Asanwa, the cursed beauty, began on a cold, rainy night. A night that should have brought joy, instead brought nothing but death. Her mother had just taken her last breath, moments after giving birth to her. And as her father rushed home in desperation, a massive tree came crashing down, ending his life instantly. That very night, Asanwa became an orphan the moment she entered the world. But what happened next was far more terrifying. When Mama Ugo, her stepmother, set her eyes on the child, she could not look away because the child was unbelievably beautiful. A beauty so rare, it felt unnatural. And in that moment, jealousy consumed her. This child must not live. Blinded by envy, she bribed the midwife with the jewels of the dead woman and ordered her to end the child's life. But something unexplainable happened. The child did not die. No matter what was done, Asanwa survived. Fear replaced anger. If the villagers ever saw her face, they would know the truth. So, Mama Ugo made a decision, one that would change the child's life forever. She covered the child's face with layers of palm leaves, charms, and cowries, sealing her beauty away from the world. Listen, everyone! This child is cursed! Her face carries death. It was her breath that killed her parents. Fear spread through the village like wildfire. From that day on, no one dared to look upon her face. Not even Asanwa herself. She was forbidden to ever look upon her own face. For 21 years, she never dared. Because in her heart, she believed one thing. If she looked, she would die. In the land where fear is planted, even the truth becomes a stranger. Each time she went to bathe, her hands trembled as she slowly removed the mask. But even before the water could reflect her face, she turned away in fear. She had been told her reflection carried death. And so she lived her life, never knowing what she truly looked like. But the greatest curse was not her face. It was the words that were fed into her soul. You are ugly, a walking curse. And like a child who hears a lie too often, a lie repeated every day soon becomes the truth in the heart of the innocent. Asanwa believed her. She was never allowed to play, never allowed to laugh with others. Run away from her! She is a monster! And so the world avoided her.
A child of the river, born from the mist, a gift from the water we greet with a kiss. But the woman of the house, her heart grew cold. Her spirit is bitter, a jealous soul. She gives her the hard yam, leaves the sweet for her own. But the river child's laughter sounds on like a drum.
She did all the chores, worked like a servant, yet ate like a beggar. The child rejected by the home learns to survive in silence. But in the same house lived two others, Kemi and Isioma, daughters of Mama Ugo, praised as the most beautiful in the land. Mama Ugo loudly proclaimed, "My daughters are queens." They never worked, never suffered, and just like everyone else, they had never seen Asanwa's face. When a lie feeds a household, even the innocent begin to believe it. Then, one cold evening, a dangerous thought was born. Why don't we send her to the river on the forbidden day? But no one goes there that day. Exactly. If we see her face by mistake one day, we could die. I don't want to die because of her. Fear had taken root in their hearts. And if we die, everything father left belongs to her. Fear slowly became greed. Let the laws of the land deal with her, not us. When fear and greed work together, they give birth to wickedness. And that night, they all agreed. Asawa would be sent to the river. One early morning, Kemi and Isioma called out to Asawa, their voices sharp, their hearts already made up. They ordered her to go to the river and fetch water. But that day was forbidden. Asawa begged, her voice shaking with fear. She knew that stepping near that river meant death. But her sisters gave her no choice. They threatened her with a lie so deadly that it would destroy her before the river ever could. And in that moment, Asawa understood one thing. Her death had come. With a heavy heart, she began her journey towards the forbidden river. Tears filled her eyes, but this time, she was not only afraid, she had made a decision. Before death would take her, she would look upon her own face just once. A soul pushed to the edge will seek truth even in the shadow of death. As she walked through the village, eyes followed her. Some looked at her with fear, others with pity, and a few with quiet curiosity. For many had wondered, what kind of face could carry such a terrible curse? At last, she arrived. The forbidden river. With trembling hands, she began to remove her clothes. Her skin glowed like the first light of dawn, smooth as polished stone. Her form curved like the gentle path of a flowing river, graceful, untouched, rare. A beauty elders would speak of in hushed tones, the kind that makes the moon hide behind the clouds in shame. When beauty is shaped by the divine, no covering can truly hide it. Slowly, she reached for the mask. Suddenly, a thunderous sound tore through the silence. A voice followed, strong, commanding, impossible to ignore. It questioned her presence and challenged her daring for stepping into a place forbidden to all. Her heart pounded like a talking drum echoing through the night. But instead of running, she found her voice. I declare myself as one whose life had already ended, she said. She welcomed death, begged for it, and pleaded that it come quickly. Because sparing her would be far more dangerous. For if she lived, she would remove the mask, and her reflection would bring death to them both. Then, someone was coming. Not just anyone. His presence carried authority, power, something divine. Slowly, a tall, majestic figure emerged from the shadows of the trees. It was the prince. Each step he took was calm, deliberate, commanding. His eyes locked onto her trembling figure, and then, in a deep, powerful voice that echoed through the air, he spoke. "Who are you? And why do you speak of death with such boldness? How dare she step into their sacred river on a forbidden day?" The air grew tense, but Asanwa did not run. Instead, she swallowed hard and lifted her voice, trembling yet defiant. She called herself Asanwa, the maiden with the cursed face, a girl whose face was not a blessing, but a death sentence. She warned him if he dared come any closer, if she unveiled her face, he would die instantly. For a brief moment, silence. Then suddenly, the prince laughed, not in fear, but in pride. He declared himself the blessed Prince of Oyo, a man anointed by the gods themselves, a man who could not be brought down by empty threats. He challenged her. Unveil it. Let him see. Let fate decide. For a moment, Asanwa's fingers trembled near her mask. She wanted to do it, to prove her truth, to end it all. But then, she looked at him, and everything changed. Her breath caught, her heart skipped. Standing before her was the most breathtaking man she had ever seen. Not just handsome, but radiant, almost unreal. And suddenly, a strange feeling crept into her heart. She didn't want him to die. No, she wanted to see him again, and again, and again. The thought alone softened something deep within her. Her hand slowly dropped. Her voice changed from defiance to pain to sorrow. "It is not my fault," she began to say. "It is not my fault that my face is cursed." Tears welled in her eyes as years of suffering poured out like a broken stream. A life of loneliness, of rejection, of silence forced upon her. She spoke of never being allowed to speak to anyone, never allowed to have friends, of being treated not as a human, but as something feared, something unwanted, an outcast. And even that was only a fraction of the pain she had endured. The prince stood still. Something within him shifted. The arrogance in his eyes faded, replaced by something unfamiliar, compassion. He felt it deeply, and for the first time, his voice softened. He asked her name again, not as a command, but as a plea, and she answered gently, "Asanwa." He repeated it slowly, "Asanwa," as though tasting the meaning behind it. Then, with quiet awe, he called her something no one had ever called her before. A beauty, not cursed, but divine. The beauty of the gods. And in that moment, at the forbidden river, between fear and faith, something had begun. Something neither of them fully understood, but something powerful enough to change everything. The prince looked at her, not with fear, but with something deeper. He told her to meet him every single day behind the great baobab tree, close to the forbidden river. He said he wanted to call her beautiful every day until she forgot she had ever been called ugly. Beneath her mask, Asanwa giggled. No one had ever called her beautiful. No one had ever cared that much. And this prince, standing before her, was the first friend she had ever known. Carefully, she fetched the water from the river. Moments passed, but she did not die. She did not fall sick. Instead, she felt light, happy, almost blessed. Even the prince was shocked. There was something about this maiden, something unusual, a strange aura. Why hadn't the river goddess struck her dead the moment she stepped onto forbidden ground? For generations, only the royal bloodline had survived the wrath of the river on such a day. Could she be royal or something else entirely? It was a mystery, one he could only solve by getting closer to her. When Asawa returned home carrying the river water, the villagers froze. Their eyes widened. She's a witch. No one survives that river on a forbidden day. We must be careful around her. Asawa heard them, and beneath her mask, she giggled.
That night, sleep refused to come to Asanwa. Her mind wandered back to the prince. So handsome, yet so kind. She had never known such gentleness. And deep within her heart, she wished she could repay him for seeing beauty where the world saw a curse. At that same moment, the prince could not sleep either. Asanwa, beauty of the gods, who are you, really? He closed his eyes, a faint smile resting on his lips. He could not wait to see her again, and maybe one day to see her face. But what neither of them knew was that their growing bond had already been noticed. And somewhere in the shadows, someone was watching.